And we are live. Happy
Yes.
Sunday. Happy New
Happy
Year.
Sunday. Happy
Yes,
New
because
Year.
this is the first episode of the Beautiful Branch Book Show for the year
Oh,
2021. Yay!
ah, amazing, amazing. I'm happy to
Yes,
be the first. I'm happy to
yes,
be the
yes,
first for
yes,
the year.
yes. It's
Excited.
amazing. Yes, the last time was in 2020, and I was the host. I was the guest also, so I spoke about my book that
Okay.
last time. Mhm. So we thank God for a beautiful year. We've been on
Thank God.
sort of break, and I just thought, okay, it's time to come back right here, and I bless the name of the Lord. I especially thank my guests for agreeing to be on the show with me today. She's a sister
It's
from
my
way back.
pleasure. It's
Yes.
my pleasure.
So thank you. Yes.
Yes.
And thank you everyone that decide to watch this show. I can see about 4 people already watching. Thank you so much for joining us. If we are here to talk and you're not there to listen, it won't be encouraging at all. So I really appreciate
Yeah.
your encouragement. If you can hear us loud and clear, please leave us a comment. You can tell us where you're watching from. Let's just know that everything is fine at your hand. You can hear us clearly. There's no echo, and you can see us perfectly well. So I would like to know that before we go on the show today. So I'll just wait a few minutes to see the comment. I would like to know if you can see us well. Please leave a comment. Let's know you can see us and you can hear us perfectly. We would really appreciate that. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the love. Thanks for watching. Thank you. So I'm waiting. Please. Let's know if you can see us and you can hear us clearly. Let's know before we go right on. Anyone, please help us. Help us. Okay, so I want to just quickly share this to your timeline. Okay, I wanted to share, but it seems I can't. Okay, let me just share to my writing group. Yes, can you hear us? Let's know. We want to go on with the show. Please let's know. Let's know. Let's see. All right. Thank you, Ara. Yes, ma, we can hear and see you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for that feedback. Okay, so I have an amazing woman as my guest today. Yes, she's a lawyer by training.
Thank
But
you.
let me just read the formal biography of my darling host, the beautiful woman at the other hand, right here with me today. So I'll just go right into it. Tinukemi Olaoye is a Christian coach, a counselor, author, and podcaster. She's also a corporate trainer and a lawyer. A lawyer. Our personal mission is to
Oh
help
my God.
people live with purpose, passion, and productivity. When I was reading this for the first time, I was like, wow, the 3 Ps, that's interesting. She helps people
Yes.
live with purpose, passion, and productivity. She works as a career and workforce development specialist at Ingenivos, a company that helps individuals and organizations to define and achieve transformational learning and development goals. She is also the host of the Lifeholic podcast, a Christian lifestyle podcast where she shares inspiration, insights, and resources to help people draw closer to God and live truly fulfilling and productive lives. She's a conference and event speaker, and her audiences are varied from entrepreneurs and undergraduates to corporate executives and pastors. She has authored several books and resources, including Before You Set Goals and resources including Before You Set Goals, and Create Your Ideal Career. You can contact and connect with her at tinukemiolaoye.com. So that's my guest for today, Tinukemi Olaoye. Should I call you Barrister Tinukemi Olaoye?
Tinukemi is just fine. Thank you.
Okay. So thanks again. I'm really excited. Don't mind me. I can be sometimes like all over the place. Sometimes like
It's the excitement. I'm so happy about
yes,
it.
yes, 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 yes. Okay. So let's go into it. It's just that before, this is a book show, but before we talk about books, I like to talk about the person behind the book, because the books don't just surface. We have someone that God has inspired to actually write the book. So I like to first of all talk a little bit about the person before we delve into the book per se. So you are a lawyer by training. Are you still, yes, did you practice as a lawyer at any point? And if so, are you still practicing? If not, why not?
Okay. Loaded question, but it's one I always like to answer. Yes, I am a lawyer by training. I was called to the Nigerian bar about 13 years ago. So I have been a lawyer since then. And when I finished, when I was called to the bar, I started working in a law firm. I left the law firm and started my own law firm.
Oh, okay.
So yes, and I had clients, I had a couple of retainerships, I had, of course, so I was practicing full time. I wasn't just even practicing, I was really involved because I wasn't even working for anybody. And when you're in business for yourself, running a law firm, you really have to be in it fully. So yes, I was in it, but that was for about 4 years when I was fully running my own law firm. But along the line, I completed a kind of career transition into the human potential development industry, which is where you find people who are trainers, coaches, counselors, and all that. And so this leads us, so in a way, I have answered 2 of your questions. Yes, I read law. I am a lawyer by training. Yes, I practiced law, but I have sort of transited from the legal practice, from the core practice of law. But the truth of the matter is, once a lawyer, always a lawyer. I still had someone talk to me today and say, "Are you still doing law?" and all that. I said, well, I still am a lawyer. That cannot change.
Exactly.
Because the day that, okay, you know what, this is really what I want to do now and all that, it's always an option for me. But I don't miss it so much because my husband is also a lawyer too. So he's still yes, and he's still very much practicing as a lawyer. But I transitioned into the people development industry, the human potential development industry. And to answer your question, I didn't know it at that time that was. So I can look back in hindsight now and say that this is why I transited. But then it just seems like it was almost like a logical, it was like a turn of events that seemed natural for me to go into this field. I told you that I was running my own firm, so which meant I had direct access to clients and all of that. And sometimes someone will come and meet me, and what they need is a legal solution. But once I sit with a client, more than half of the time, we are counseling, I'm encouraging, I'm trying to look for other things and all that. And at the end of the day, I'll still go back and do the legal work, which, I'll go back on my own to do. But the time I spent with the clients, I realized that it wasn't just about the law for me. I was seeing the person behind. Some people, I could just deliver your legal solution and move on. But to me, it went past that for me. And then I now had a client who was like a major client for me. is a well-known person in the training and corporate and coaching industry, who was my client then. And he was on a retainership, and he was training for his company, trained for organizations. So I remember that I was sitting with him, and he put me on a retainership. And the way legal retainers work is that whether or not you have any active legal work for them to do, they pay you. So his company, so they pay you to be on call, in essence. So he paid me that was how things, I mean, that's how things still are. When you're on a retainership with somebody, it means you pay the person to be on call, but there are times when you don't need the person to do anything, but you are still paying the person, because a retainer is a retainer. And that was how it was supposed to. But I always felt uneasy, like every month something comes in from this organization, I'm not doing anything for them, you know, like, you know, so I would reach out and say, what are you doing? Do you need help with something? Do you? And they would say, you've covered all the bases, we are fine, you know. And then so much that I used to probe a lot into their work. Okay, what are you doing now? There was a time he was writing a book. He gave me something about 12 pages. By the time I was done with it, he had a manuscript of over 60 pages, and I just expanded the thing. And, you know, it wasn't because I wasn't busy doing other things, but I just really wanted to give value. And maybe some people thought it was kind of foolish, because, I mean, you are getting paid. It's not anybody's problem. It's the way retainers are. But there was just something about me. I can do more for this person. And then I really liked I really liked him. I liked what they were doing and all that. So I really wanted to help. So I crossed the line of being their legal expertise, their legal talent, their legal, their solicitor, their lawyer, the company lawyer, into the affairs of the company, you know, the things they were doing. And now he's a public speaker, he's a coach, he's a trainer, and all of that. So there were times that I would say, okay, where are you going now? You know, said I go to train here. And there was a particular time I said, I want to see what you're doing. So he said, come along and observe. I remember I started observing, and then he said, if you're interested in this, there are things about this industry, you know, maybe you coordinate for us. And I could have said, I'm not coordinating, a lawyer. And coordinating means you're like class captain in a training, you know. So, and all that. But he said, okay. He said, it's just going to, they paid me kind of like a pittance for that, but that wasn't my problem. This were already even paying me, you know, some money anyway. So I took the thing, I coordinated. It was hectic and all, but I did it. And then one day, when I remember when he stepped into it was at the first bank training, then I was coordinating. So he came in, other people were coming to facilitate and train, but I was just coordinating, the person keeping order in the classroom. That was kind of thing I was doing. In fact, a lot of people that wouldn't believe that I was a lawyer with a law firm of my own, you know, with the kind of thing I was doing then. So I remember he walked in, and then he sat by my side. He was just observing the facilitator. So I now looked at him and I asked the question. The question was very simple. I said, why am I not doing that? That was why I asked him. So he said, we are ready whenever you are. Like, you can do it. I know you can, because I had also gone to do some speaking to some youths for him, and done this here, some leadership training for people here and all that. And then the next thing, it was like 2 weeks later, they had another first bank training, and then I went there and I had a blast. I had a blast with the people. You know, it was, you know, with the participants of the training. And he was a bit apprehensive, because, you know, when you're a trainer by profession, people, they grade you. They give feedbacks where they score you and everything. So it was, hey, I took a risk on this woman. I hope everything is fine and all of that. But we had such a blast, you know, and I was really, it was, let me just say that, you know, God just took all the glory, really, at the end of the day. And it was a fantastic experience for every one of us. So much so that because of the feedback he got, he just started taking me on trainings and all of that. And now, what started with him has gone. I have trained for organizations, big names in the industry, big names all around, traveled out of the city, just training for organizations and all of that. And I liked it because I liked the fact that it got me closer to people, helping them become better. Because when we're training, a lot of people, when they're training, when they come for a training program, they are there because their HR said they should be there. But as far as I was concerned, not in my class, not while I'm there. You must leave the place a better person. And I found myself probing. You know, I would probe. I would ask questions. So people come and meet me after the class. We'll sit down. I'll be talking with them. Things that had nothing to do with the subject matter of the training. And then that was when I now decided that, you know what, I may be a lawyer, but I really love to see people move from point A to B. And it's even though I didn't go to school to train, to learn how to be a trainer or anything, this is really something in me. I know God can use this because, and I just saw grace at work, really, because the kind of places and the kind of people that ordinarily shouldn't listen to a younger woman would not just listen, would come, they would even seek you out after the whole thing, and just so. And then I was very conscious about it. I was praying about it, and then I said I'm going to take the plunge, but I won't just roll up my legal practice like that. I'll just keep training. I'll keep training. And then I also did a certification in life coaching and in career coaching. I took like an 8-month program, an international one, and I became a certified coach as well. And then recently I also added counseling to it because there was just a part of what I was doing. I just wanted, because I was already mentoring, I was training, I was coaching, I was already writing books that has to do with human potential. So I said, you know what, let me go around that skill set and really learn, how to help people improve. And so the real why now, which is something that I can see in hindsight, is that it's an anointing. It's an anointing. It's a calling. I didn't recognize it for what it was then. It's a calling to see something good in people and the potential that they have, especially when they partner with God and yield to God and all that, and the potential they have. And just so it's the reason why I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this for real. And there have been times when I'll ask myself, what's wrong with you? And then sometimes I would even see people that were classmates, and they've gone a long way in the corporate industry, even as lawyers. And I'll ask me, my goodness, but I say, no, you are building people. It takes a while for you to see what you have done in people. And that's why sometimes some people don't forget. I may just be somewhere random and someone will say, I know you, ma. I will never forget this. I remember once when I released Praise Your Ideal Career, the book. Then my brother-in-law put it on his WhatsApp, or was it his DP or WhatsApp or something? Maybe it was Facebook. I don't know where. He just put the cover there, and someone sent him a message and said, "The name sounds familiar. This person that is Tinukemi Olaoye, does she do trainings?" So he said, yes. He said, oh, I don't know what the book is about. I don't care what the book is about, but I'm buying that book because she made an impression on me. So, I mean, I was pressing, who is the person? All that, but I couldn't even place the name anymore or the face or any of that. But I'm just grateful. So, the why. So that's the long answer to your very short question. I like to, but the why is that I saw that I saw that I had I didn't know it, but in hindsight, I saw that I had a grace for it, which is what, it's a grace for it. And when God graces you with something, it means there's something in you that wants to use to help other people. And it's just a huge privilege to be on that ride.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. And as a matter of fact, I've come to realize that there is nothing as rewarding as impacting the lives of people. Like, you can make all the money in the world. It doesn't hold water. It is what you do to people. Exactly. It's not the same at all. It's not the same. So thank you for yielding to God, for yielding to that call. Yes, and something I picked from all you have said is we have to be ready to yield to our maker. He's the one that knows what is best for us. Sometimes we just think, okay, this should be the right path for me, but he knows best. He knows what really is the reason he created us and what is the right path that we should walk on. And then another thing is that we need to understand the times and seasons. Okay, there are times we have to be under tutoring or under tutelage. we have to learn, submit ourselves to learn in preparation for where He's taking us to. So basically, I picked that from what you just shared. So thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so I read your first book. I got that the book.
Thank you.
Yes, it was about career and stuff like that. And I just wanted to ask, why are you so particular about, career related issues? Like, why are you so particular about career?
To be honest with you, I'm going to speak very plainly.
Okay.
There are times even I have asked myself that question, because I will tell myself, because I'm being honest here and I'm being human. I'll tell myself, this thing is not helping you, it's not, all these things. But I just come back to it. I just come back to it because I am particular about career, because first, it's like a burden for me. It's like a burden for me personally when I hear or when I see that people are in jobs that they should not be doing in the first place. And or when I see that people are in working conditions that are not right. Sometimes recently I was asking God, I said, why did you tell me to go and read law if right now I'm not even practicing law? But the response I hear, what I get as a response from him is that, like, sorry for those of who don't speak Yoruba, like, be patient, just you wait. Am I not the master planner? I know why, I know why. So I really don't know, but it gets me going. And I am so passionate about, I don't like square pegs in round holes. Sometimes there are so many things, and I even like to look at it from the angle of work as opposed to just career, because I'm beginning to shift now. Not just, I'm a career coach and all of that, and I've written a book on career, but I see that a lot of people even look at career just as though the work they do in an organization, or maybe just their business and all of that. But to the point that I know that even women who are stay-at-home moms have a calling work, even if they don't see themselves as career women. So I'm passionate about what work are you doing, and why am I passionate? Because that is the biggest, the greatest expression of our divinity. It is the greatest place where we can, it's so central to our lives, is how and where you represent God. It's how and where you use your giftings, your skills, everything God has put in you. It's the place you contribute your quota to the world. So if the work you do now, even if you're not working in an organization or running the kind of business that people say, oh, it's a large business or an SME or any of those things, if the work you do is that you are a blogger, let that work honor God, let it bless humanity, let it be that you are using the deposits that God placed inside of you to be a blessing to the world, to represent the God that created you well. And we spend too much of our lives at work. So why should we be working? Why should we be doing the kind of work that we have no business in the first place? There was a particular Facebook group I was in, and there was a discussion. Someone came up and said, I hate my job, I hate the work I do, which is something I care a lot. I hate my work, I hate this, I hate this, I hate. What should I do? And of course, a lot of people came up and said, who cares whether you hate the job? Is it not paying you? Is it not doing this? Is it not doing that? Do you want to starve? You better apply some sense. You better do this one. That it was pinching me. Finally, I said, you know what? I will talk. So I went there. I said, I see where everybody is coming from. And I know that in some situations, when you are hungry, you will do anything that is put before you. And the Bible even says that whatsoever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. So that's not a problem. Where you are now, you do your best work. Give it your best. But have a plan to get to discover the kind of work you should be doing and how you should be doing that work and where it is, and a plan to get from where you are into the work you're doing. Because you think you are, see, anybody that stays in a job they do not like, they have not seen, they have not scratched half of their potential. I am telling you. You don't know what you are capable of doing yet until you are in the place that God has placed you. You don't know what you are, you don't know what, you will look at some things you will create and say, am I the one that did this? That's because you are now flowing in the place of grace. That's because you're now flowing in the place that you are supposed to be. But when you are still dragging your feet, they say do up to 80%. You say, as you're on the 78, 79, 79.1, 79.2, you are scratching. Let me show. They say 80, Abi. They say 80, Abi. The moment you reach that 80, like you say, hey, thank God.
Thank God.
I reached that 80. Let at least, you know, that is the one they are forcing you to do. But the one you will wake up in the middle of the night and you will sit down there and you are still doing it.
Right.
That is when you unleash your potential. And see, until you bring every part of you into the work you do and you give it your best shot, that work has not begun to honor God the way it's supposed to honor God. It is not an excuse to God to say, see, you know, I was hungry now, so I gave you a shoddy job. We do our best work when it's the kind of work we're supposed to do. That is why I wrote Create Your Ideal Career. That is why I wrote that book. Like, this has gone on for far too long. I don't like when people come and say things like, that's the work I can find, no problem. Do the work you can find. But what are you doing about? You either step up to your A game in that work that you can find, or you look for the work that is. And then another part of it is that I also see that I'm also particular about work and career because there are so many things. God created work. It's you don't work because of money. You work because it's dignity. That's part of how you contribute, you create. That's your creativity coming to play, no matter the work you do. So when you are working, you are partnering with God, that creative part of God that is, you know, we are created in the image and likeness of God. There's a deposit of creativity that He has put inside everybody. So when you are working, that is one of the biggest places that creativity will show and shine. So that's why I'm also particular about, you know, and I'm still going to go there. There's a time for everything, like you said, but I'm still going to go there. There are still things that need to be addressed on a larger scale, working conditions for workers. I don't like it when I see things and I feel like this is wrong. Because you want to make more money, you will make somebody sit at work till 7 a.m. and they will between 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. Something is wrong with this picture. This is, you know, this is not good. And how can we change it for the staff? So for the worker, for the workplace, for the business owner, just trying to ensure that the mind of God when it comes to people's work or the way people work is established in that area. So it's something that I'm really passionate about. So that's another long answer. I tend to go on. Hello.
See me now?
Okay, I can't see you yet. Okay, yes, I can see you now. I can't hear you though, but I can see you now. Okay, yes, I can see you. Can you hear me?
Can you see me?
I can see you now.
Okay, and you
And
can
yes, I
hear
can hear
me.
you now as well.
Okay, my network threw me
Yes,
out
I
before.
thought as much. I hope you could hear me. I went on and on,
Yes,
but at some point in time, I had to pause. And
yes. Thank you. I'm so sorry about that. So I couldn't even pick the last part of what you were talking about.
okay, I was saying that I believe that work is, you know, the way we work and the work we do. I get very passionate about seeing the mind because I know that there is something in the mind of God that he had in his mind when he conceived the idea of work. And I know that is not what is seen in a lot of people's lives or even in their working conditions. So, and I'm passionate about, doing everything I can to establish that thing, that concept of work. Because I believe
Mm,
that in God's mind, work is something that even though it's going to task you and is going to draw a lot from you, it's not something that should make you cry. It's not something
mm,
that it has now turned to hustle. Adam was in the garden, he was tilling a garden. When he
right.
was sent out of the garden, he began to till a ground. So, and a ground that is now hard and is not yielding well. So I
Mm,
believe that this is not our reality. The reality for so many people, even Christians, is that we are not in the Garden of Eden yet, where we have not returned to
yeah.
that part when it comes to our work. So it's
Mm,
either someone doesn't have any work at all, or the person is working but is underemployed, or the person is working but they don't even have the skills to work, or the person doesn't even know which work they should be doing, or the person is misplaced in the wrong job, or you are in a
mm,
good job, a decent place, or in the right place, and the employer is frustrating you or putting horrible working conditions,
right.
or my head will just. I remember when I had my baby, and it became very obvious to me. I think that was when when the Bible says something like when the Bible says Jesus was touched with the feeling of our infirmities. You
Mm,
know, I think it was at that point, even though I wasn't an employee, it was at that point I began to see that no, so many things are wrong when it comes to moms in the world of work. This is
mm,
not right. There are some things that should change. So it's very multifaceted the way I look at work. That's why I said I don't try. I even try not to say just career alone, but the way I look at work is very multifaceted. So I'm very passionate
right.
about how people work, what people do, the conditions of their work. Sometimes I sit down on the International Labour Organization website, I'm reading things, my head is
Mm,
sparking, sometimes it's cooling, and sometimes I say no, sometimes I say, why can't we do this here? Sometimes I'm just like, no, 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 this is wrong. Or I read an article, it will take my husband to tell me to calm down, say this is wrong, this is, all of that. Because yes, I'm like, this is not right. No, this is not right. So I'll watch something and so I know that I still have a role to play in the world of work, even because it's
mm,
line by line, precept by precept. That is why,
right.
let me be honest with you, my sister, and all our guests here this evening. I have asked myself, I've told myself, you are already in the field of human potential and you're building people up, whether it's related or not. Just this career thing, so, but I can't leave it. It's a burden.
Mm,
It's a burden, and that's why I do things that have to do with career, that have to do with work. That's why. See, let me stop because I will continue. If I don't stop, I will continue.
obviously, because it's something you're passionate about. I
Oh my
can
goodness.
feel the passion.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's I
Yes.
see. If you want to get me going, if I sit down near a stranger, someone says, so what do you do? And the person says, so, or even if it's just a woman that says, ever since I had my baby, I don't even know, I don't feel. I'll say there's a season for that. Sometimes you just need to rest. Sometimes you need to take your
Mm,
time, and no problem. But when you are ready to work, we will find the work that is good for you. That is good for that season.
mm,
Except you are not ready. But if you are ready and you
exactly.
want, even if it's just to be writing, because work, like I
Mm,
said before, is not necessarily something you go outside to go and do. Even if it's something that at
right.
least you are elevating the lives of people by what you do, and it's something that is
Yes.
not supposed to be the kind of thing that you wake up and say, "Oh my God, is this one again that I'm doing?" No, now that's not the will of God.
Right,
I've,
right,
I've pressed full
right.
stop, I promise.
This is deep. Yes,
Thank
this
you.
is it. Like it's about the work, more focus on the work. Yes, and
Yes.
I love it. Like, and I can reckon, just, I just see myself like through you as you were talking, because this is my school of thought too. That's what I believe. It's not
Thank
about
you.
just working for the money, or just, okay, I must make ends meet, but doing it right. Are you in the right place?
Yes.
Are you doing the right thing? And there's
Yes.
something for everyone. It's just that
Yes.
many times we haven't even, gone ahead to really discover what it is that God wants us
Yes.
to be doing. And God has placed, or He has decided to place each one of us in a certain garden. Some people do not even know where the garden is. He wants us to till the ground, maybe to minister to the lives of a few people, and we haven't even found the garden, not to talk of having
Talk less of
fruitful
doing
work.
the work.
So yes, so I think this is something that is very pertinent. And unfortunately, because of the hardship in the world, because of so much going on in the world, many people do not believe in this. They just feel, let me just find something that will pay my bills. Let me
Hmm.
just go and start teaching. And then, I'm using teaching as an example, because it's that's my line, right? And you just find some people that are there because that's the next available job. And by the time they
They
are
don't
there, they
even
are taking out their frustrations out on the students.
on the,
They're
yes.
hungry at the system. They're just sad, and
And
it
they're not even
shouldn't
teaching
be.
the
It
students
shouldn't be.
well because they have no business being there.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. I pray that whoever is watching this that needs to make a change will make a change and realize that indeed
Amen.
it's first about what God has destined you to do, or where God is calling you into. Where is that place that He is calling you into? So thanks so much for sharing that. In fact, if we end
Thank
this show
you.
today on this note, we are good to go. But we must talk about this book that we are talking about today,
Yeah.
Before You Set Goals. And I think this is actually symbolic because it's the beginning of the year, and many people are already setting their goals, or they already set their goals. So people have started working, tirelessly to see the goals being achieved, while some people are already tired. We are
Hmm.
still in January, but they've even forgotten about their
The,
goals. Okay, so can you just tell us a bit about what the book is about? Just like give
okay.
us a brief.
Okay. So this is called Before You Set Goals, and it's 10 coaching questions to help you set goals that please God and take you forward. So that's the
Mm,
subtitle. Coaching questions
yeah.
to help you set goals that please God and take you forward. And I wrote this book because um, I saw, of course, in my own life, in my history, I've had times when I have set goals. It should be they say we should set goals. That's 70, how many, what's the percentage again? Only 70% of people write down goals. I'll be sorry, only 70% write down goals. Of the 70%, only 3 people achieve the goals. But you must write it
Mm,
down and all that and all that. So I said, okay. So in my history, I have set goals that by the end of January, the goals are the ones setting me.
mm.
We like me, I set them and now they are the ones setting me. That's even the one I remember. That's even the one I remember, or the one that I just sat down and said, there has to be something about this goal setting thing that
Mm,
guarantees that somewhere along the line we are doing it right, and that helps us to actually to actually meet up with the goals that we set. So I
mm,
said, what is going on? It's not just about smart goals. They say make it specific, measurable, achievable or actionable, or realistic and time bound. All those ones are good. But that's when you get to the setting part. There is a mind shift that needs to happen before you set goals. That's
mm,
why that book is titled Before. So this is the kind of thing you're supposed to encounter before you even start saying these are the things I'm doing. So what that book does is that it acts as it's a short book. It's like a short workbook. This one even is not, I didn't write a lot into it. It's actually supposed to be like a coaching workbook that asks you questions that you will now sit down and be thinking, because you are supposed to go through this exercise prayerfully. The subtitle is set goals that please God and take you forward. Because a lot of us take God out of our goal setting. We forget that we are supposed to be setting goals because we want to please Him and do the things He has asked us to do. We are not on earth for ourselves. We were sent here. We answer to somebody. So why would I think that because I want to set my career goals, I know what I'm supposed to do in my career for the next 1 year or for the next 8 months? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Do I know what is waiting in March of this year?
Even tomorrow.
Even tomorrow. And even if for some reason I think I know, do I know whether God wants me to change something? So my whole point here is that why would I sit down and be setting goals without asking God, Father, what are the goals you want me to set? What do you want me to do? So the angle I brought this book from, there are two major angles. Number one, your goals must please God. And they will please God only if they are true to scripture and true to the things God has asked you to do, which you must decipher by praying. And also, they must take you forward. And forward here, I see a lot of people that say things like, right now, I'm earning 10,000 naira every month. Just by way, okay, let me say I'm earning 100,000 naira every month. And by December of 2021, I want to be earning 100 million naira. Good. Nobody is saying you shouldn't or that it won't even happen for you. But what I'm saying here is that what you should be after when you set goals is progress. You are point A. You need to move to point B.
Right.
So why should you set the goal of 100 million naira? Set the one that is closer first. Don't jump to point B. Because if you set a goal that is so huge, you will be tired before you start. And another thing is that one of the things that, because the book has explanatory notes inside, another thing is that I wanted to debunk the myth of setting yearly goals. Yearly goals don't work for everybody. In fact, most people, it's better, we have human beings, we need a time span that allows us to think long term, but also helps us to do the work that is necessary. So in that book, I recommend setting 90-day goals. So if in 2021, you want to write, if you're an author, you want to write 5 books, or you want to write 3 books, or let me make it easier, you want to write 4 books this year. So instead of saying, I'm writing 4 books in 2021, no problem, write that down. But when it comes to the goal setting, tell yourself the first manuscript must be out by the 31st of March. So that your mind focuses on that first manuscript. Leave April, May, and June. You will get there soon enough. But so that you can look at it and now say, okay, you know what? This is January, February, and March, about 12 to 13 weeks. What is the architecture of my life like? I am a mother. I have 2 children. I also work a full-time job. I also, maybe I have a side business or something. How much time can I be dedicating to this thing? There is the part of inspiration where God will just take control of you and you're writing the book. Even you don't know how the keys are typed. The keyboard is just, your fingers are flying on the keyboard. But there is the discipline. So you must also look at your life and say, let me focus on this one for the next 90 days. Because what that will do for you is that it takes your mind and directs your thoughts on that one. And by the time you are done, you are motivated. See, if you record 2 major goals or 2 major things that you really wanted to achieve, and by the end of 31st of March, you achieve them. On 1st of April, you will be the one to say, where is that? There is no goal I cannot achieve. You will be so motivated. You will sit there and say, yes, let's do this. So, and then this book also asks you questions like, is this the right season for that goal you are setting? Because it's a very deep book if you allow yourself to sit down. because people are setting goals for the wrong reason. So that's why I said it is the book that helps you to set the right goals that are just for you, that are just right for you, you know, so that you can do the right thing. So I see somebody, and I've been there before too. I will tell myself, this one, this one. So you see a nursing mother who has a baby that she's nursing and two older children. Maybe her parents-in-law are even living with her. She's trying to manage herself, and she says, you know what? This is the time to go and do a full-time master's with my full-time job. Why? Why? Or you say, if this is my business, shebi so and so is doing this one, I saw it on Instagram. So me too, I must sit up and do this and do this. No problem. The question is the book is directing you and asking you why. Why? So that you will examine your motives, because this book is not the kind of book you read and go. It's a coaching book. And it's the one where the instructions are specific. You sit down prayerfully before God and let him unearth the motives that are directing you. So that you will sit down and say, why do I want to do this thing? Is it because everybody is doing it? Or is it because somebody said I should do it? And then you will sit down and say, really, why? Or is it something that can wait? Or is it something that I don't have to do this much, but I can do this one? Or is it something that, see, I know we believe in miracles, but you know the thing about miracles, my sister? Miracles are acts of God. We don't work miracles. God works miracles. Right. But when we're working for miracles or expecting a miracle, we have our own part to play. Yeah, so when we're discover the path we're going to see some things. I don't know if it was Joyce Meyer that shared this story, that she was so overwhelmed at a particular time in her life. She sat down, she said, God, I have this meeting here, I am recording this one here, I have this conference, I've not finished this book, my children this, my children that, and God, I'm so tired. She said God told her that even me, when you were accepting all the invitations, even me, I was wondering, what is she doing? Many of this work God did not send, we sent ourselves. Right. The question is why? Is it because you think that it's until I do this one that my life will move forward? Is it God that asked you to do it? Is this the season he wants you to do it? Or because, and there's this craze that is going on around that I don't like. Personally, I see things like the 30 under 30, the 40 under 40. No problem. We want to use it to encourage people, fine. But we are taking things a bit too far. So people are feeling pressured that, I must achieve this one before I am 40. I must do this. And so we want to disturb, we don't have any peace of mind. God cannot talk to us again. We are so busy running up and down, doing the thing that nobody sent us to do. So see, I'm sure you can tell when if I sit down to write a book, it means that the thing has entered my head and I'm so passionate about it. So that when you see me talking about it, is I released the book early December, and it was my podcast, the Lifeaholic podcast. There were 2 episodes in December. I said before the old goal setting, vision board, this one happens. Exactly. Release this one and let me talk about this now, so that everybody, you will hear that I've said my bit. But my point is that the book is just supposed to be a guide to ask. There are notes, there are questions, and then there are notes that explain the questions. There are notes, like what is my life season, and then there are different domains of life. Like there's the financial domain, there's your spiritual domain, there's your marital, the parental, work and all that. So it's to help you take a honest look at your life and say, which part of my life needs a lot of attention right now? I don't know if it looks like you are not available or present or even noticing your children anymore, but you want to be setting career goals. You need to go back and think about it. Right. Or if you are at the point where you say, I must make this money, no matter what it takes. Yet, God cannot see you to read Bible or even talk to you. There's something wrong with that picture. Which is why the book is going to ask you which area of your life needs your attention right now. Some people quite all right, it's their financial lives that need attention. Some people is their parental life. Some people is their relationship with even their parents. Like you see somebody saying, and I want to relocate. I need to leave this country. I'm so tired. And there is nobody that is not tired of this country. I am tired of
I
Nigeria too.
wonder.
But we are all doing what we are doing because we are sent. There is a time for everything, you know.
Exactly.
We are what's the word? You know, you're a soldier, you endure when you've been sent to do something. So, but you see some people, you know, so just by way of example, that say, I need to leave, I need to leave, I need to leave. And you have an aged mother that lives with you. And if you were to leave, where would she go? You may think that Mama has done her own, no. This is my own life, oh, but God will not honor that. So these are the kind of things that, see, this book, if you take it, it will disrupt your thinking. And I'm even still going to expand on the book a bit more because it's a really small workbook. I just wrote it that, you know what, let me just get this out there. But what is there is it will disrupt your thinking. Like it will make you feel, you will ask God, and then you will know. And then there are some things that you will know that God is asking you, telling you this is not the time. This is not the time. So it really just asks you questions that help you please God and also take you forward, because where you want to go is forward. So as long as you can look back and say, this is where I am now, it's not, I mean, I have moved further than where I used to be. A goal is a tool that helps you say that takes you there. So moving forward and all that, and just to look at your life and say, what can I do? Look, I may not be able to do. See, that's when you see, in those days, we'll set goals in every area of life. Then I know I can set five goals. Spiritual goals, 5. Financial goals, 5. This one goes 5. That one goes 5. That's why I said that is the goal that will not be setting me by mid-January, because I'm just so tired. So this time around, I'll look at it. You know what? There's my spiritual life. There's my financial life. There's my marriage. There's my motherhood. There's my relationship with my family. There's my career. There's my this. There's my that. So I can look at it now. Which one needs attention? There are some things that are standard. Your spiritual life, there's some things that are not shifting. So you already create system for that. Except you now see it. And there's some people that say things like, my spiritual goal is to be able to lay hands on the sick and see them recover. That is a good goal, but it's going to cost you, because you will sit down until the power is already available, but you are the one that will steward that thing that is inside. You will sit down, you will imagine you touching people and that thing will take time. So if that's your goal, so that's good. So, but there are some spiritual systems that are already in place that ensure that your relationship and intimacy with God continues. So I can look at it now and say that, you know what? Like last year, personally, during the whole COVID thing, I trained for organizations. That part of my work took a hit because we couldn't go live to be training anymore. We had to do virtual trainings, and they were even few and far between. So I looked at myself and said, okay, as far as my work, my business is concerned, what can I shift? What can I move around? What are the things I'm doing now? And then I just picked, out of all, I could have set five goals all around. I just picked 3 major goals that come the end of March. Once these ones can happen, I will look at it and see that my life has changed. And those are the things I'm focusing on. Then April, I will say, hey, which other areas need that focus, need that attention? I sit down with God again and he says, look at this, your financial life. Look at this one. Say, okay. And then you tackle those ones. While you are trying to achieve your goals, life will not wait. There are still children to feed. There's still errands to run. There's still a husband. There's still a job there. So anything. So trying to achieve your goal is extra work on top of every other thing. Why would you want to now load yourself with so much? You understand? So that's the reasoning behind the book.
Wow. I think that's a book everyone should get, and we should get it early this year, like now in January. Yes, thank you so much for letting us into the world of the book. Thank you so much. So how can we get the book?
You'll be surprised if I tell you this. The book is free for now.
Oh,
it's free for now. I made it free, but that was because I was making it. It's not free for everybody. It's free for members of my community, the Lifeaholic community, because there's some women there and all that, that I try to, help and just, build in any way I can. So I made it free for them. And my plan was that by the middle of January, I was just going to take it off, and I'm actually going to create a course, but as per following the rules of the book, the course is not urgent for me anymore, so it has to wait another time. Yes, so that's why I just I'm going to put that book and then now make it more robust with a course or something, and that time it's not going to be free anymore. But for now it's free. I still haven't taken it off because to be honest, I was just busy, and it was just I just left it for now. So it's still free, but I know that by the end of January, it's not even going to be available anymore for now. I'm just going to take it off, but it's still free for anyone who wants to get it for now, because it was a strong message that I felt like needed to go out, and I wanted to remove every hindrance to to its availability or its accessibility at that time. So till in the next January is almost over, so certainly before the 31st of January I'll be taking it out. But for now, anyone wants to get the book, it's on just go to thelifeaholic.com and you see a wait, but you have to sign up to get it because it's only for members of the Lifeaholic community, my in-house constituencies that I shared it to for now.
Okay, I'm coming in-house too.
Yeah, most welcome.
Oh my God, I've had an amazing time, chatting.
It's been my pleasure.
You hit the nail on the head. You have said some really critical things this evening, things that the human mind would not even want to conceive, things that people in our age don't want to listen to. They don't want to hear it. They will tell you, leave God out of this thing. Is God going to pay my bills?
I made that decision earlier. Like you're saying that says it's the person that sent you work that you'll be afraid of. Right. I either do what I answer to somebody. I think at the end of the day,
exactly.
And when I say I answer to somebody, it's not until I even leave this earth and go to heaven. It's when I go to my prayer time, and what am I going to say? That people they didn't like the message, so I feel like God told Jeremiah, he said, when I put something in your mouth, you go and say it. Otherwise, I will shame you before those people. Like, don't be ashamed of them, or me and myself, I will come and shame you before those people. Thank you very much for the comments. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Madam Victoria Dewumi. Yes, we're glad that you got something valuable from watching. Thanks for the feedback. We appreciate it.
Thank you
God
so
bless
much.
you, real
yes.
good. Yes.
Thank
so
you.
I know that many more people will watch afterwards. If you watch later, you catch the replay, please drop a feedback. Would like to know how this has inspired you, how this has blessed you. But I can tell you for a fact, I am blessed. I am refreshed this evening. I am all the more, focused on the fact that I must do God's bidding. It is the most important thing above every other thing. In my first book, The Beautiful Branch, I actually have a chapter that talks about the beautiful career. That's why I said, see, we share the same mindset. When it's a whole chapter I wrote about the beautiful career. And, many people don't believe in some of these things, but it's the fact. It is God that created us. He's the one that knows where you should be. He's the one that knows what you should be doing. And I pray that God will help our world. It will help our generation. And it will help everyone that needs to hear this to hear it and make a change as is necessary. So it's a new year. The year is still new, relatively new. It is. So yes, so in setting your goals, you should watch this, listen to what Sister Tinukemi has shared with us this evening, and better rush and get into our house. Get in-house so that you can get the workbook for free. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Is there anything you would like to leave us with before we round up?
Well, the last thought that I'd like to share is that let's not be afraid to be counterculture. Let's not be afraid to do things differently than the way other people are doing it. especially if we realize that that's God's way, because God's way is not always the crowd's way. But at the end of the day, it will be proven to be right. So let's just do things when we get God's wisdom. It's a privilege. Let's do something with it. Let's and God's
Right.
wisdom will come from different sources, from books, from
Mm-hmm.
programs like this and all of it. Let's just really run with it. It's a privilege. We should work with it. So even if it doesn't make sense, as long as we sit with our God and He demystifies some of these things with us, I think so. Let's not be afraid to do things that are unpopular. Well, at the end of the day, God will be proven
Mm.
right. It's His wisdom we are working with now. He will be proven right.
Right. Right. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm
Thank you so
blessed
much
and
for having me. I had such
refreshed.
a great
I believe
time.
you
I
have
had such a
too.
great time.
Yes, me too. Thank you so, so much. Thanks everyone that joined in. Thank you, Adide Jirotimi, Ira. Thank you, Mr. Bamidele Salami. Thank you, Mrs. Victoria Dewumi, and so many other people that watched but didn't leave any comments. We thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, this is the Beautiful Branch Book Show. The show holds every 2 weeks, so you should expect me to come back in another 2 weeks with another author. We're talking about another beautiful book. In the meantime, I wish you a wonderful week ahead. Have an amazing and fulfilled week. God bless you. Have an amazing evening. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.